How's it going, YouTube? This is Skull, and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program Science Mode, Episode 5. And today, I bring you this spacecraft, and, well, obviously, this is a post-recording commentary, just because this thing is going to take a while to get up into space. It took a total of 5 real-time minutes, actually closer to 6. But anyway, so I've sped it up 4 times regular speed. This is the craft that will get me to the moon. And, well, basically, it's identical in structure to the last craft that I made last episode, except we don't have those big, bulky fuel tanks to weigh us down. Now, we still have fuel tanks in the same spots, but they are much smaller and thus lighter. They should still get us enough fuel to get up into space, into a solid orbit around Kerbal, and eventually, yes, even to the moon itself. But in the meantime, well, we're just getting a standard launch trajectory here. Yeah, so I decided, you know what, I knew how to get to the moon. It just required some testing, and actually, I didn't test the spacecraft at all before this launch. I just went into the editor, changed up all of the parts from the big bulky engines or fuel tanks to these smaller ones that still provide a ton of extra fuel, which is perfect, which is what you need for a moon mission, but a whole lot lighter, like I said. Anyway, just going up into an orbit here. Have to burn a little down right here just because I'm a little eccentric. But anyway, I did get into a solid orbit, and now I'm going to hand the mic back to old me, the one who recorded the commentary live. Take it away. Alright, we are in orbit around Kerbal, which is awesome, and we have plenty of fuel and another stage completely ready to send Kerbal all the way to the moon. In fact, I'm pretty much in the perfect setup to just head straight there. I want to be at about 90 degrees away from the moon, which means I'll be right about here. So if I go ahead and add a maneuver to send us out towards the moon, and we could see these 2 little dots here. When those dots intersect, we will have an encounter with the moon like what happens there. Let's see, periapse of 101. I could probably get a little better than that. Well, that's just, that would hit the planet, so this is a whole lot smoother now with fraps, I'll tell you. Let's see, 70 kilometers, 60 kilometers, 30 kilometers. I want to get as low as possible, get as much science as possible. 700 meters, that might be a little too low. 16 kilometers, that should do. It'll take about a minute to burn that long and get all the way to the moon. So what I'm going to do is time accelerate here until we get to about 34 seconds, because then we can split this maneuver mode 50-50 between T-minus 0. So 34 seconds before T-minus 0 and then 34 seconds after, which should be perfect, and I'm pretty sure we have more than enough fuel to do this. So we're getting close here. Let me go ahead and back up, do another quick save, and 36, 35, go. And look at that, the moon has just risen. Let's just go ahead and point straight. There we go. And now at the maneuver mode, straight again. This thing is so long, it really is kind of like a wet noodle trying to control it. Luckily, we don't have to worry about that too much. As long as we're basically pointing prograde in our orbit, we're going to be fine. Or pointing forward in our orbit is basically what prograde means. We might even have enough fuel to get all the way to the moon just on this stage, which would be awesome. I don't really know if I'm going to want to go for an orbit this episode, but I don't know. Just getting to the moon, doing some science there, and then coming back to Kerbal, I'd call that a much more successful mission than what we did last time. But the fact is, we still have all the fuel in this stage right here. Look at all that untapped fuel. We're barely halfway through this bottom stage of fuel. This top stage isn't even done yet. And look at that, we're almost done with our maneuver. So I think if there's any fuel left in this stage, I'm just going to pump it down so we'll know exactly how much we'll have to work with after we get to the moon, and we're almost there. And then basically once we get our encounter, we'll just cut or slow down before we get the encounter so we don't have to worry about it. And then we'll just trim our maneuver so we get as close as possible. And there we go, 12 kilometers. That's still safely above the surface, but getting low enough that we get all of that amazing science. Now look at that. We have about 2 units of fuel in that top stage. So let's go ahead and pump that into the bottom. Okay, we have about 160 out of 360. We still have almost a full quarter of our bottom stage left. That's just absolutely amazing. As I recall, the moon doesn't actually have any biomes, except when you're actually on the surface. So, I don't know if it's worth it to get into an orbit around the moon. We'll see. I certainly have the fuel to do it. Technically, I actually have enough fuel to land on the moon and return safely to Kerbal, but that's a lot to do, and I didn't put any landing gear on this top stage, so... Or this top stage. This up is the top stage. You get the idea. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna time accelerate out a little bit until we're in high Kerbal orbit. I don't remember exactly what that is, but I'm gonna wait till we get to about 500,000 meters, right about there. The easiest way to figure out is just do a crew report until you are high over Kerbal. You are really as high as a kite, Rocket Man. Maybe higher. Let's go ahead and transmit that back. We got all sorts of batteries to help aid us in the electricity needed to transmit stuff. Let's go ahead and open up this. I'm going to wait, use the materials bay until we're in a low lunar orbit. So until then, let's go ahead and see what else we have. Observe the mystery goo. Mystery goo and Badlands seem like a bad combination to you. Rather than opening a Pandora's box, you forgo the experiment and make up some data to send back to KSC. So we're going to keep that. Let's see, where's the thermometer? It's right there. There we go. Log the temperature. Measuring the temperature of space appears to be quite impossible, as there is no matter around to be either hot or cold, except the spacecraft and the thermometer itself. This is probably going to give the R&D guys something to think about for a while. So we're going to transmit that, even though we're only getting half science. It's still science that we can reset for later, basically for free. It's just reading a thermometer. Like I said, I'm going to do the materials bay later, but just for the fun of it, let's see what kind of science we would get out of here. It would be 37 science. Imagine all that we're going to get in low lunar orbit. You consider how nice it is to be in the lab rather than in the Badlands below you. We're going to reset that, and the doors are going to close. Once again, quick save. Just going to quick save as much as possible, really. I'm going to time warp all the way out here. Look at Kerbal just disappear behind us. That is absolutely gorgeous. Oh, the sun is going to fully illuminate the moon, which is right there. We're going to shoot out past it, and then it's going to pass underneath us. It's going to be very pretty, actually. Oh, look at that. You can see for the very first time, Kerbal is able to see both the entire Earth, Kerbal, and the entirety of the moon all at once, with the sun beautifully illuminating both of them. Quick save again. Let's go ahead and get into when we're into the moon sphere of influence. We'll get 2 kinds of science around the moon. High in space above the moon and low in space above the moon. I don't remember exactly how low you need to get low science, but there we go. We are now in the vicinity of the moon, which is awesome. Very, very excited. Oh, you know what? I completely forgot to get an EVA report high over Kerbal. That's fine. Korger doesn't have to reset himself, so yeah, crew report. From this high up, the canyons look like scars across the moon's face, which is appropriate considering how much the moon has survived millennia after millennia. Okay, we're going to transmit that. We're still doing pretty good on electric charge. I'm glad I put all these batteries inside the service bay. Let's go ahead and find a new mystery goo. Observe that real quick. You very briefly consider filling one of those canyons with goo. We're going to keep that. Temperature. Measuring the temperature of space appears to be quite okay. It transmit that data. And then when we're in low lunar orbit, we're going to keep that. Okay, now we need to quick save again. Do an EVA. What's your EVA report? Say, are those Moonier Canyons down below? They sure are impressive. Nothing like Kerbin's, of course. We're going to keep that. Actually, how about you let go, turn on your jetpack, look around, huh? Enjoy the view. In real life, there were actually 3 astronauts who undertook spacewalks between the Earth and the Moon. Let me think. Al Warden, Ken Mattingly, and Ron Evans. Basically, they just stood up in the command module on the return trip to Kerbin and retrieved some film that had been recording there. The only deep spacewalks in history up to this date. And for the foreseeable future, unfortunately. When it comes down to it, spacewalks are very, very dangerous. They may seem routine, but you can still count the amount of spacewalks that people have done altogether. So, let's see. Grab. No, fail miserably. Okay, come on, Korger. I don't want to lose this again, so quick save. Okay. This is quite difficult. Let's see. There. Nope. I gotta try this again. The problem is the spacecraft's at an angle, and the game doesn't like angles that well, so... Okay, I think I got it. Now I just gotta put myself in line to grab the hatch. Pretty please. And grab. There we go. Now board. There we go. All that science is in there, and we just completed an EVA between the Earth and the Moon. And the only thing left is the Moon itself. So as you can see, we're going to slingshot around the Moon like this. Our periapse is about 12,000 meters, so let's go to about here. It's going to seem like we're getting really close to the Moon, actually, which is awesome. I mean, look at this. I'm going to get a really good view of this, I think. In fact, I think I've decided I will go ahead and get into orbit around the Moon. It'll just make it easier to return to Kerbin. That looks good. Okay, that's only a 4-second burn, too. That's amazing. So let's go ahead and work our way over there. We're going to lose a lot of electric charge doing that. But the good thing is, once we do our burn, that'll reset our charge. Well, it won't reset our charge, but it'll recharge our batteries. So, perfect. Plus, this allows for us to have more time to gather all that data while we're at the Moon, so we can focus on more important things like, surviving. So we're going to get as close as possible to the Moon. It's always more efficient to burn at periapse because then you're basically going the fastest anyway, so you're getting the most bang for your buck, if you want to put it that way. We're getting really close to the Moon, and this isn't even our closest point yet. We're 14 kilometers up, going about 800 meters per second, 838, something like that. I could just put myself in an orbit right now, but I'm going to wait all the way until we get to the bottom of the countdown clock here. We're going to be below 12,000 meters at our periapse, which is awesome. This was just a craft I threw together after realizing my other fuel tanks were just a little too big. So let's burn. Okay, 4 seconds was not correct, but, you know, that doesn't matter. We are in orbit around the Moon. That's what the camera change meant. If we had a seismometer on the Moon, we could just dump the stage on there perfectly fine, but no need. Okay, we got a pretty high apoapsis. That's perfectly fine. The good thing is now we are low over the Moon surface. Look at that. Oh my goodness, look at that. That's absolutely gorgeous. Now if we can find Kerbin over there, now that will be a really nice shot. Basically Kerbin's right above us, so if we were to... I'm going to delay my science just a little bit to get this amazing view of Kerbin and the Moon. Aw, man. This is one small problem, is that yeah, the sun's angle phase. I could I'm going to wait until I get to the other side of the moon to do that. Unfortunately, this means I'll have to do all my science in the dark, which is not fun, but oh well. Crew report from near the moon. You resist the urge to take your craft down even lower and thread the needle. We're going to keep that. And yes, our electric charge is all the way back up. Not that we need it now, because we're going to keep all of our data. Let's see, new mystery goo. Have I used you yet? No, I haven't. Perfect. The goo seems as excited as you are at being this close to the moon. 30 science. We're going to keep that. Thermometer, log temperature. While waiting for the temperature scan to finish, you sketch the patterns made by the moon's canyons. Oh, that's awesome. We're going to keep that. Going to close the materials bay, open up the science, or close the service bay, open up the materials bay. There we go, that's what I meant. 75 science. Your experiments are still unable to conclusively prove whether or not the moon is made of cheese. You formally request permission to go lower. Well, we're not going lower, but we are going to orient our spacecraft in an upright position so it'll be easier to get back into the craft when I embark on my EVA. That's absolutely gorgeous. Okay, I need to go polar, not, well, what's the word? What is the word? Radial. Yeah, I need to go normal, not radial. Got it. Okay. This is probably good, and then I'll just wait for it to settle. I could always time accelerate, but that's, you know, when it comes down to it, that is cheating. Going to do a quick EVA. Glad I quick saved because the game just froze. Okay, try that again. Korger. Let's embark on your EVA once again and see what you have to say. The scientists have explained that the Lunar Highlands are likely plagioclase cumulates. You're not quite sure what that means. I don't even know if I pronounced that right. I'm a YouTuber, not a geologist. Okay, quick save once again. This is why you quick save. Even though I'm using the 64-bit version of KSP, which is a whole lot faster, it seems to be rather unstable. I'm having more game crashes now than I ever did, just on my own. So anyway, let's see if we can't swing around the moon and perhaps get a really beautiful picture of Kerbal Rise. That's the name of it. Earthrise was something that humans never even thought up until Apollo 8, Christmas 1968. They just looked out the window, saw Earth rising up across the lunar surface. They took a few pictures. Perhaps one of the most famous photographs in history is the Earth rising above the moon. And it was taken by human beings, which is, I mean, to all the moon landing conspiracists, a robot would never think to take a picture that beautiful. Seriously, only humans could look at something like that and truly appreciate what it means. Anyway, we're going to hopefully see Kerbal peek up over the lunar surface now. We are pretty high over the moon now, but that's absolutely fine. I think it'll just make for an even more beautiful picture. Let's go ahead and turn off the overlay and see if it pops up. I'm going to guess it's going to show up right around here. But just in case, I'm going to get my camera over the entirety of the moon, just in case. Yeah, we can almost see the entire moon. Like, actually, right there we can. How about that? We're going to see it any moment now. There it is. There it is. Oh my goodness, that's gorgeous. Look at that shot. Oh my goodness. That's awesome. That is thumbnail worthy right there, I gotta say. Oh man, that's gorgeous. Look at that. Oh man. Now, this is basically like a slit of all the Kerbal that's left, but for people on Kerbal looking at the moon is almost a full moon at this point, which is awesome. Okay, well, we've gotten about as much science as we can from here. Let's go ahead and close the doors. Now, I kind of screwed myself here because my Periapsis is in completely the wrong place. I'm going to have to burn extra long here in order to get myself on a trajectory back to Kerbin. But you know what? I need to dump this stage anyway, so I think I'll just go ahead and... Well, I don't want to litter up space, right? I don't want the Kessler syndrome to affect me. If you ever saw Gravity, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So I am going to point myself retrograde here and slow myself down enough so that I'm on a collision course with the moon. Then I'm going to stage and use my top stage to propel me back to Kerbin. That's what I'm going to do. Plenty of battery power. Well, my biggest worry on this trip, I won't lie, was the batteries. Korger Kerman, you are the very first Kerbal to ever reach the vicinity of the moon. Actually, you're the first Kerbal to ever reach anything past like minimum orbital velocity, which is perfect. We're making a lot of progress in this series now, and I'm very happy, I must say. So, just a quick burn. Yeah, now we're on a collision course with the moon, which is fine. And now we're going to stage and point ourselves prograde. So this stage is going to fall down and impact the moon. It'll become the very first Kerbal-made object to hit the moon. And this stage is going to... we got to activate the engine first, of course. Got to leave it behind. Look at that. Now we already have a periapsis higher than the other one. Now we're going to... I believe right around here is when we need to make our burn to leave the vicinity of the moon and get back to Kerbin. In fact, that's a little too much. Wow. Back off a little. We want to get our periapsis down to about, I think, 30 kilometers. I think that's safe. We do have a heat shield, so in the long run, it doesn't matter too much. We just want to make sure we slow down enough that our parachute deploys safely. That's basically what it comes down to. So we're going to aim at our maneuver mode, and now that this thing isn't as long, it's way easier to just point it in the right direction. Have I gotten all of the science that I possibly can from here? Any mystery goos I have yet to open up? How about this one? May as well, for duplicity's sake. I'm sure that's a word. Okay, going to about T-minus 5 seconds. Right about there. Quick save, and go to map view, and 3, 2, 1, go. Look at how fast this is going. My goodness. And coming down, 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 down. Okay, how much fuel do we... Oh, I have plenty of fuel. I could have easily made a landing on this thing. Good to know. All I need to do is add struts and I can land on the moon. Actually, next episode, I think I'll go to Minmus. I definitely have the Delta V for that. This is probably the most ideal spacecraft I could have made for going to various Kerbin places. In fact, this spacecraft might have enough Delta V to get me to other places, like even interplanetary space, or perhaps even a flyby of some planets. Anyway, that's cutting it pretty close there. I want to go just a little bit deeper. That's good. Do a quick save. Now this is where it's going to get tricky, because I need to basically hit the atmosphere dead perfect with my heat shield, so, which I hope I actually put on this, come to think of it. We're about to find out. Okay, 5 hours, yeah, a day. Okay, we're going to warp here after we quick save. Warp here. Okay, we're going to leave the moon behind and basically fall towards Kerbin. And with any luck, we'll land on the daylight side. Oh, you know what? I just realized we also need an EVA report from high Kerbin orbit, so this is perfect, actually. Okay, quick save. Just point the spacecraft. I guess it doesn't matter, since I'm not actually going for a spacewalk. I'm just poking my head out, basically. Stand-up EVA. Okay, EVA report. Badlands. Whatever. Next they're going to say Elu is a giant snowball and Lathe is populated by another race of Kerbals. Okay, keep that. And board. ELU is the Kerbal Space Program equivalent of Pluto, and Lathe is one of the moons of Jool. So, gonna accelerate this way. Just a little. Cut it at about here. Now I'm going to actually. I'm going to go ahead and stage. Yeah, I'm going to do that. And yes, I do have a heat shield. Perfect. Okay, I want for that thing to go that way away from me. I don't want for it to hit me while I'm going down into the atmosphere. Speaking of, point myself retrograde in preparation. Okay, I got more than half of my electric charge left, so I'm not worried about that. Really, I only need the electric charge to make sure I point in the right direction, because this thing is unbelievably top heavy. So I basically need to go as dead center as possible from the get-go in order to make sure that I go in the right direction the whole way down. I don't want to flip forward and just lose everything. I have a lot of science on this, and not to mention a Kerbal. I already killed Jebediah Kerman. I don't want to kill Korger Kerman as well. Who knows? Korger might be the next Jebediah. Or more likely, this will be his only mission because I'll forget to ever add him back in. Anyway, your heroism is not in vain, Korger. We will get a lot of science out of this, and we will be able to unlock new technologies to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life and new civilization, to boldly go where no Kerbal has gone before. Quick save, because I really need a quick save. And yeah, now I'm assuming it'll just be a standard re-entry. If anything important happens, then I'll get back to you, but otherwise, I guess I'll see you after landing, or at landing. I'll see you landing. You can see my spent stage down there. Look at that, basically 50 kilometers, and we're already getting a lot of heating. Uh-oh, that better not be my parachute. I'm pretty sure that's my parachute heating up. Please survive. I have a heat shield on this thing, dang it. Okay. Moving it just slightly more center seems to have done the job. So we're going to move you there and keep you there. Okay, but yeah, there's my spent stage down there. Good thing I shot it away from me radially, because if that were to hit me, I think that would hurt quite a bit. I'm going to go ahead and spin this a little bit to help distribute the heating as much as possible. This is still turning red. I don't like that. That better not actually be my capsule. I don't know how to fix that if, I don't know what to do. See, like, I get it dead center and the heating goes away. If I'm the slightest bit off center, it comes back. I don't know, maybe I just went too deep into the atmosphere. How's my blader doing? Blader's doing good. Still have about half my electric charge left. Go back, center. I'm going to need to micromanage this the whole way down, but still, I thought that was pretty that we had the spent stage down there just making its own trail, probably going to explode sometime. The ablator's holding well, about 1/2 ablator piece per second, slightly more. I think we'll be more than fine, and if anything happens, I'll let you know, but I think we'll be fine. Okay, we are about to splash down. We got a beautiful island over there. Looks like we're going to get a water landing, so no new landed science here on Kerbin, but that's a beautiful island. It reminds me of Skellig Michael, the island that was used for the finale of Star Wars The Force Awakens. Anyway, splashdown. Everything is in one piece. And perfect. Let's go ahead and recover the vessel. See how much science we got out of that amazing mission. I did have to micromanage throughout the whole landing, though, so if I do use this to go to other places like Minmus and interplanetary space, I'm going to need bigger heat shield, I think. Anyway, we did get 255 science from that mission. That's absolutely insane how much science that is. So let's go ahead and see about unlocking something in the tech tree here. We could get a lot of stuff. I mean, we have enough to even get advanced fuel systems, which gets us bigger fuel tanks, that's what I'm trying to say. The thing that interests me the most is bigger heat shields. So where are those? 2.5 meter heat shield. Let's go ahead and research that. And we can get the fuel systems. That's tempting. That won't leave us with much science, though. Advanced rocketry. Things that just don't interest me, honestly. Advanced landing could be useful. With even bigger heat shields. The biggest heat shield possible, in fact. Oh, that's tempting. Miniaturization, not so much. Electrics, ooh, more batteries. Let's go ahead and research that. Now we can't get this even if we wanted to. Let's just go ahead and get aviation and advanced rocketry to wrap it up. So we have all of this in the tech tree and 2 more in the next one. So with any luck, next episode I'll be able to go to Minmus, the second moon of Kerbal. But until then, thanks everyone for watching, and stay tuned for more.